I swear I've never seen a league like the WNBA where you can't just be happy with a win. Something always has to come into the equation after the fact. Usually it's people hating on Caitlin Clark or, discussing some sort of discourse that happened online. Dejanay Carrington has been part of that in the past. She said stuff after games that became a topic of conversation, most recently after a Fever win over the Sun. And I got to tell you, this one annoyed me a little bit. And let me be clear. I don't care about NaLyssa Smith and Dejanay Carrington's relationship. That is their business. That is their personal business. I hope they are both happy. I hope they're happy together. Whatever that relationship looks like, it's fine. But when you talk about the playoffs, it's another subplot going into what is likely going to be, or it might be locked by now, a Fever and Sun playoff series. And the Carrington Caitlin Clark on-court rivalry is awesome and electric. I love that. But you could almost look at it as gamesmanship a little bit when you have the involvement of Smith and Carrington's relationship. Here is what was tweeted or posted. Started with Dejanay saying, "See what happens when my girl gets some touches," with the angel halo, which is nice enough, I guess. Though, I don't know if there was any gamesmanship involved there. It's fine. She's rooting for her partner. And NaLyssa Smith says, "Fun while it lasted, babe," with laughing emojis. And that's the part that's going to irritate fans because the Fever won the basketball game. What does it matter how many touches NaLyssa Smith got in the midst of it? Why does that come into play? Why does that factor in at all? Especially when I would count Smith as a big weakness for this team going into the postseason. She can't close the games, for one, because she can't hit free throws. So otherwise, they're going to foul her or, let her live with those situations, sending her to the free throw line. In this one, it was Dantas who closed the game. We've seen Fagbenle close the game. That's the position that the Fever lack. It's why, I've said Sabali would make such a good signing for Indiana, because Smith is the most talented player at that position, and she's had some good games. She is capable, but I always question her focus at times, her decision-making at times, and she just makes me nervous with her overall play. And then when she does something like this after the game, is it a huge deal in the grand scheme of things? Of course, it's not a huge deal, but it's the kind of thing that reinforces the concerns about her on-court play. Like, what's the point of putting that into this public sphere after the game? And they just that position does concern me in any playoff match. Forget just against the Sun head-to-head and, the way it might be a side topic of conversation. I think the Fever can beat Connecticut because I think the Fever can outscore Connecticut. I don't know if the Sun have the requisite scoring profile to. I mean, they can win. They're a good team. They're a solid defensive team. They're a tough team, but they're not going to light you up, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, Alyssa Thomas doesn't even look at the basket half the time. Marina Mabry was a nice pickup for them, but they don't really have that sort of personnel. They're more of a grinded out team. So I think if the Fever can get hot a little bit in that series, they just have the advantage when it comes to the number of bodies that could put points on the board, mainly from the backcourt, but even up front with Aaliyah Boston. My big concern roster-wise, period, is the depth of the Fever and the 4 spot. Because, as I've said, they don't have a great answer at that position. Smith is erratic, I would say, with her play overall. Dantas is limited when it comes to speed. She can shoot. She's a big body. She can post up. Fagbenle provides defense, hustle, rim running, but is also limited offensively beyond that. And Katie Lou Samuelson is no good. I think I can't remember the last time Katie Lou Samuelson made a shot, and that's supposed to be her bread and butter, and she's not really bringing anything else to the table. Not any good defensively, doesn't really rebound, doesn't really do anything. So that spot is a glaring hole, and if Smith could just step up and be consistent, that makes a big difference. However, after a Fever win, just felt unnecessary, I guess is all I would say. I don't like the soap opera stuff. I'm not trying to delve into it being too messy, But I will say, NaLyssa Smith, it was unnecessary.